Proper Punters, brought to you by CrossBet. Are you ready to level up your punting game?
All right, welcome back to another week of Proper Punters. I'm here with my man, Tommy Forward. How are we?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm good.
Getting
I'm
there.
good. Hay fever's killing me when I forget my medication. But
Yeah.
aside from that, I've had a decent little trot of being very selective and back in a winner.
Yeah.
Hopefully can continue that.
Yeah.
Interesting week last week. I think we had some double matchups in Melbourne with the Blue
Yeah.
Army, Pericles and pronounce it.
Cimmerillion, I think.
Yeah, Cimmerillion. Is that a wine? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It sounds like it has to be a
fancy.
wine.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah, I felt fancy when it won. But aside from that, I think Aft Cabin, I was feeling pretty keen. I don't know if it was a disappointing run. I don't think he had the room to run, and he kind of worked home in the room that he did.
Yeah. I wish there could be such thing as a double gelding, because it'd be interesting to see him just a bit more focused, I thought. He didn't have the best of luck, but
It was a bit of a strange ride.
Yeah,
It
I
wasn't.
wanted to touch more.
I thought they would put him into the race a lot earlier than what they did, and I don't think the race panned out anything like how I did think it would be
Yeah.
run. But we've got Group 1 racing on Saturday down at Flemington.
Yep.
We have the Makybe Diva Stakes.
Yep.
Have you had a look?
Yep. Had a good look. I think that Via Sistina is close to the M word. I think, yeah, I'm not going to say it, but I think she's just phenomenal. The way she won the Wing Stakes over an unsuitable distance up the inside with McAvoy on, super strong through the line.
Yep.
Only going to be better. Waller would 100% have left something left in the tank, if not plenty left in the tank. And I just want to take on these Melbourne horses. I thought Mr. Brightside was okay, fresh. I think he's just finding his level though, while I think Via Sistina still is capable of going to that next level. Not sure what to make of Pride of Jenny. On face value, she was disappointing last start. Nothing came up in the vet swab. But we've said it before on this podcast, you just have to be forgiving of horses off one bad run, especially a champion horse like herself. Trust Kieran Maher to get it right if he's still continuing on with her preparation.
Definitely. Like it's crazy to think that Pride of Jenny beat like all these horses by 6.5 lengths at Randwick.
I know. And
Just
comes up
starts to
$6.50.
It's amazing, yeah, just how good she was that day.
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts?
Not particularly. I haven't really looked into the Melbourne racing yet.
I think. No.
No.
I was going to say, just looking, I think there'll be a bit of revenge from J-Mac just after he got it, fell asleep in that Queen Elizabeth. I think from gate one, he's going to be super aggressive, and wouldn't be surprised to see Via Sistina sort of in the box seat, stalking Pride of Jenny. I don't think he'll make the same mistake twice, sitting out the back and letting Declan Bates sort of get 20, 30 lengths on him.
Yeah, and what did you think of Mr. Brightside? Does he come back as good, or?
He went well. The Memsey was good. He looked like the winner at sort of the 300, and then Pinstripe just got him with sort of the extra run under the belt. It's definitely a pass run. $3.10 doesn't interest me, when I can get $2.40 via Sistina. But yeah, gate 4, Willow's going to put him in sort of the 1-1, and he's going to he looks to get every chance again, I think.
Well, it looks like there could be a couple of decent bets down there. It looks definitely a good day's racing, and we will get to that when we go through the best bets.
Sounds good.
We'll go through the back 5 at Rosehill.
Yep.
Rail, 5 metre position. It's looking like it will be dry.
Yeah, I've got a good 4.
Okay.
Medium chance
I know there's
of
a little
showers.
bit of rain forecasted for the east.
Yeah.
That rent's that expensive. I don't think it should. But
Yeah, exactly. I know. No, medium chance of showers shouldn't be too bad, I think.
yeah, okay. So, yeah, it looks to race. So, how would you predict the track will play? Obviously, the 6 metre rails when it's usually quite fast and on pace and on fans.
Yeah. I did some research this morning, looked through past track patterns, sort of 6 metre rails on good 4 surfaces, and it hasn't played as biased as I thought I would find when I looked back through. The last 2 6 metre rails have played relatively even, like forward of midfield seems to be the place to be, but sitting in the 1-1 you can win, sitting on the fence in the box seat you can win, and sort of 3 pairs back you get your chance. I think sitting last and swooping will be a disadvantage. Coming down sort of 5, 6, 7, 8.
You don't
off
want to
the
be
fence.
coming too far off the fence and from too far back.
Saving ground will be advantageous, so look for sort of jockeys that like to do that. Jason Collett, especially sucking up the fence and sort of getting out at the 100.
Awesome.
Yeah, should be. Hopefully, every horse gets their chance.
it's funny when looking at the track. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago when we were at Rosehill, it looked a little bit on pace. No, sorry, it was at Randwick. Some of those places looked to be a little bit more on pace, and then as the day went on, it's looked to even out with more genuine tempo. So something just to keep a close eye on throughout the day, and something I look at like quite closely race to race.
Yeah.
All right, well, we kick off in race 6.
Yeah.
Jolie Star.
Yeah.
To the eye, was probably one of the most impressive wins I've seen, like so arrogant.
Yeah. But
then dissecting the form and looking at it, actually, before we go into that, tell us what the speed map is.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I only got an average speed. Macarena, Royal Merchant and Belclair will all be positive, I think. And then you've got the market fancies, Jolie Star, Sunshine in Paris and Commemorative. I think they'll all be midfield to rearward. But continue on with what you were saying about Jolie Star.
Yeah, look, to the eye was unbelievable and was so arrogant. Like, he went past them and he was already half shutting it down. So I still have a top pick and we can get into that. To the eye was unbelievable. What she did beat, the format of the race hasn't stacked up to look very good at all. I think there's been 4 runners and they've all ran near-tailed off in their start. So it's a bit of a tricky one for me. I still have her on top. I won't be diving. Like, I thought she was a moral the other day, as I said. I was very bullish, very keen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't dive into her. Can I see her win and see her maybe go on and she'd be one of the top class horse sprinters in the country? Maybe. There's a horse I want to mention, Belclair.
Yeah.
Fuck, I reckon this horse is flying. Its trials have been unbelievable.
Yep.
I very rarely black book horses like that out of the trials anymore, and I just seen it by accident looking at something else, and I went, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And you do know I've got this weird fetish for overseas horses having their first start in Australia.
I know. You missed Royal Patronage last week.
Oh, fucking trialled awful to the eye, but that's another story, and Gay does it again.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I wish Belclair wasn't running into Jolie Star because it'd be having something on it. Maybe a small place bet here.
Yeah.
Sunshine in Paris, I thought quiet trials, positive without being, they'll pass marks for me.
Yeah.
She's a horse that has trialled super in the past. Mm-hmm. Not to say there's any knock there. Commemorative, I thought its run was good, and I think she's a horse that improves from racing.
Yeah.
She's a big girl.
Yeah.
And I think she'll appreciate a real senior rider. Like, I think Zach Lloyd was on the last start.
He was on it at Scone as well.
Yeah, but I think she needs a strong rider to steer her. She got a bit lost in the straight and took way too long to get moving.
Yep.
Much harder race for her here. Mm-hmm. But wouldn't be surprised to see her run a cheeky race down in the weights.
Yeah.
I'm Jolie Star on top. I'm definitely having an eye on Belclair. And yeah. What about yourself?
Yeah, I'll reiterate the same with you with Jolie Star. The subsequent form. And I just also think another thing is sort of how both tracks are going to play. Like, that day at Randwick suited horses coming down the middle part of the track with a swooping run. And I think if we think Rosehill is going to sort of play up and in, that disadvantages Jolie Star. So just at the $1.75, $1.80, I'm with you. I think if you love the horse and you think it's a top class sprinter, which it could be, I think wait, because I think you're going to see $2 on the day. I think Sunshine in Paris is a genuine danger in this race. Won the Chiraco Stakes this race last year and then went on, got a slot in the Everest, then had a setback, got pulled out of the Everest. And then it resumed at the beginning of this year, started single figures in 3 Group 1 races, started $5.50 in a TJ Smith. I mean, has proper Group 1 form lines and Group 1 SPs, comes up $4.20 against $1.80. I think it's not a best bet for the day, but I think it's definitely a value play for me. And I think I'll be taking the $4.20 Sunshine in Paris over the $1.80 Jolie.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it's going to be a race I'm going to struggle to bet in because even like Macarena is a horse that's going to roll forward, be on the fence.
Yeah, if the track plays that way, then
if the track plays that way, it's a funny one. Mm-hmm. I think it's one of those ones we could watch that race and see 6 different results and go, I get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I didn't think I would be saying that about a race that Jolie Star contested after her win.
Absolutely.
And then thinking, I thought she just keeps winning, but Anyway, we move along. Race 7. Sorry if that was no help from me.
We just grade you up. Sorry. Race 7, the Ming Dynasty. I've got a fast tempo here. I've got the favourite Mayfair and Imperial Force wanting to take up the lead and setting a strong clip. And then I think the other second favourite, Clear Proof and Lady Shenandoah. I think they'll be ridden rearward. Jay Ford could use gate 3, but I think more than likely first up he'll just find a midfield position, especially when that speed goes on. But I'm with Mayfair in this race. I like that it's up in distance. Gay Waterhouse runners just punch through brick walls no matter what distance she puts them up. This horse was 6 weeks between runs last start, so it'll improve off that run, and that Storm Boy form could turn out to be top class 3-year-old form. This horse had to sit outside it on that occasion, and as you know, the Rosehill 1100 is sort of turning the whole way. So having to sit outside the lead and turn, I think is a big disadvantage that it had. But it ran superb, crossed the line with Gatsby's, which is a top class horse, and I think the $4.20, Tim's just going to take it to the front, and I think give it every chance, being by Fastnet Rock. What do you think, Mace?
I concede and agree with almost all of the points that you made. And I've got this thing where I love Gay Waterhouse runners, like good quality Gay Waterhouse runners over 1400. Yep. It's that fun, like 13 and 1400, when especially when they're stepping up, it seems to be a trip that is won by horses that are relatively on pace.
Yeah.
And more so than like 12 or a mile. I concede massive chance. Once again, not something I want to dive into early. I did like the run of Clear Proof. I think it's a haul. I think stepping up the 1400 suits it. How far back it will get, I reckon Chad might try and have him a little bit closer here. Imperial Force, I did have a good opinion of. Was disappointed with the run. Troll between runs has been good and looks to have gone better ridden with a little bit of cover. So from barrier 2, I think it'll be positive. It may be ridden with cover. Lady Shenandoah, Troll very well. Like relatively well. Last run was really good. Not 100% sure where it's going to be, but I think from barrier 3 can sit a lot closer than people would probably have it. Not a race I'm diving into early. Certainly not bagging your run, but do think it's somewhat open with a few chances. I
get in the Congo vibes from Mayfair, just with the silks, the stable, the jockey. Just gives me that tough on pace 3-year-old that I mean, if none of these horses are any good, I think Mayfair will expose them just being up on speed, going at a quick tempo. But yeah, tough race. It's
definitely. And the fact that I think Imperial for like Media World will go forward, Just Party will go forward. The fact that I think in Imperial Force has a chance of maybe trying to take a sit only probably enhances the chances of Mayfair. For sure. I'm definitely not bagging that, but it's certainly not a race I want to be playing in. So to tell you the truth, a lot of what I've seen, there's not much I really want to dive into early. Last couple of weeks, I've been keen on a couple of bets. This week,
it's a wait and see.
It's a little bit of a wait and see, especially that rail position. There's a few tricky things. And even with Flemington, I want to see how it's playing before I really dive in.
For sure.
All right, we go to the Run to the Rose. How the fuck are we already at the Run to the Rose? There is an almighty tip going around that Storm Boy will be winning the Gold Rose, which is funny because I think before his first up run, there was also a tip going around that he's going no good. So
I know.
It's a good old street corner tip in racing, just never fails to deliver.
It only took 14 days for it to completely flip. And we could be saying something completely different in the Golden Rose if he flops on Saturday.
It's a funny one. Like, what's a speed map look? To me, just looking at it quickly, there seems to be a bit of pace.
I got a ton of speed in this race, which we'll speak about when we talk about some of these horses. I've got Storm Boy, I've got Bustling, and a Node, all wanting to take up positive positions. I think they've all led like 85% of their career starts. Linebacker, I think, has also another leader, but I think Racing New South Wales
option to be ridden back. Yeah,
correct. So I was a bit unsure about that. Bigger targets ahead, they might just take the sit, which is interesting because I think we'll get to that horse. But speaking about Storm Boy, this horse has had 7 career starts, has won 5 of them when leading, and his only 2 career losses have come when he hasn't been able to find the front. So he didn't find the front in the slipper, and he didn't find the front in the size produce. I do concede he sat wide in the size produce, so it was tough, but he does seem just like a bully up front, goes at a quick tempo and just runs him into the ground. It'll be interesting now when he comes up against horses with a similar pattern. I think Bustling has been running enormous time in Perth, now gets the stable change. It was also sort of a leader bully over in Perth. You have to think Perth to Sydney is just an automatic up in class rise. But I just remember last preparation, on the same day that Overpass won their big race over there, Bustling ran almost identical time to Overpass. So I think you can put him in sort of that category on the clock. Then he's definitely up to this race, up to his neck. Big tip around for Traffic Warden. It will be ridden quiet, so we'll just see how the track will be playing.
Did trial well.
Yeah, it did trial very well. There are whispers that it's sort of Godolphin's smoky Everest chance if, Aft Cabin flopped, and what other chances do they have? Yeah.
He's trialled well. He had some good runs last prep. I think his Melbourne run's really good. Obviously, his run in the size produce was phenomenal, just getting beat there.
They've kept him a colt. That's always a interesting one with Godolphin.
It's a funny one. So I look at Stormboy. Win was good. I think the track was... But there's still got to be a question mark. What has he beat? Like, if you go back and look at the horses that he has beat compared to what he's run behind when he has got beaten, his best form is around horses that he hasn't won.
Yeah.
Like, to this date. So I'm not... I think he's a very nice horse.
Yeah.
His win was impressive to the eye. He did things right. And I wouldn't be surprised to him win and go on to win the gold because he's such an incredible looking type too. I do have a question mark about what has he beat, and in my opinion, he's still beat nothing.
Yeah.
No offense, but he hasn't. I shouldn't say nothing, but he hasn't beat the top class. He has not beat the top class 3-year-olds yet.
Yeah.
So to be taking $1.90.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's now 210. To be taking 210, I can't dive in yet.
I would almost wait to see where he settles in the run and back in play on Betfair, or take some in play. But I think if he finds the front comfortably enough, then I think sort of $1.75 in the run is more than reasonable. I think if he doesn't find the lead, then he's in a world of trouble. It's
funny. It's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one.
Yeah.
I do think, as you said, there's good pace in this race. I think Switzerland could get the run of the race from barrier 3. Collett's riding exceedingly well.
Yeah, he is.
He could just get the best suck up you've ever seen, pop out and just slingshot past him in that last 100 metres. And it's a style of horse he is.
Yeah.
He's got that nice short start sprint. It's going to be interesting. I'm very interested to see how he looks in the yard, to see how forward he is.
One thing we haven't said as well is Bustling already has a slot in the Everest. It's been picked up in the Everest, which is quite big. So will he be fit and ready for this first up? I'm not too sure.
Well, you're certainly not going to be around right
but
the Everest is a little while away.
Where's the intent, I guess? Is there any intent? I don't know. Does that mean that because he's got bigger targets, they won't try and lead and they give Stormboy control? They from 2, Chad just sort of sits in the box seat. It's an interesting one.
The other thing I found interesting with this as well is that Switzerland, Waller's chosen to trial him against older horses. I don't know why. I don't know. It just stands out to me. I thought it was a little bit of an odd one that he's had both trials against open company. Don't know what he's getting ready for, but for me, betting in the race, I'm having something on him at an each way basis for sure.
Yep.
The other horse I want to make mention of is Emirate. Was on in both starts last prep.
Scratch last week.
Won on the heavy track first start. Then he's win that day at Rosehill. The check that he copped and lifted himself, and it was impressive win that day. Absolutely impressive. He's had 2 relatively quiet trials. He's also trialled in the open company as well. So I don't know. I'm just trying to give him experience against some older horses. I'd be having small plays on the Waller horses here.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for the favourite, but I do think he's under the odds, and I think both of these are pretty top class animals too.
Agree completely. I think the favourite is under the odds.
Now we move on to race 9, the Theo Mark Stakes. We've got Celestial Legend around the $3.90 mark. Absolutely love this horse.
Yeah, so do I. I think
He's been a very good horse to me.
Yeah.
On him in the Doncaster, on him in the Guineas. He's made me look smarter than I am. And I'm against him here.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about the pace.
Yeah, I have a fast tempo. I've got Bases Loaded and Wind Chat, the second and third favourite in the race. Actually, in the fourth favourite, Punch Lane. I think they'll all want positive positions. I think Wind Chat will take up the front. I think Bases Loaded from 15. Tim's going to scrub its ears off, and I think it'll sit outside the leader. And then Punch Lane will just sit just in behind him. But I think they'll go at a pretty solid clip. Getting to Celestial Legend, I'm the same with you. I think 390, you look at that and you go, it's a Doncaster winner. It's versing sort of inferior horses. But then I sort of look at it a bit deeper, and I think Les Bridges got this horse on track for a Golden Eagle. He's a master at sort of getting him set for the grand final and not worrying about any other races in its preparation. And I just think Gate 3 is a bit tricky. Large field, speed on. I think this horse could be buried looking for the runs. And I don't want to be taking sort of 390 when it's got bigger targets in its preparation. I looked at Bases Loaded. I sort of had to laugh a little bit at the $5. I thought that was absurd. I did my market before looking at the prices, and I was sort of double figures. It is first up, but if you go back and look at its trial, it's almost having its second up run. It was absolutely scrubbed off. I don't know if jockeys can get suspended for whip charges in trials, but it was sort of, it was just, a race in its own. Gate 15 is a lot of trouble from out there. I mean, the 1300 at Rosehill, there's a bit of a chance to sort of find the front without turning, but I was sort of against the $5 completely. I thought Winchat's trialled really well. Respect David Pfeiffer, he's only got a small stable, and this is kind of his stable star, so I think he'll be taking this one seriously. It can run well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I reckon it's got a massive chance in this race. I think that I really respect David Pfeiffer as a trainer. I think he will be treating this like it's its grand final, and there'll be a lot of horses here that are definitely not here for their grand final.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got the class of a lot of these animals, but I know on his day he goes extremely well.
Might just get sort of the setup to run well.
Yeah, he got the setup to run well.
Kilos.
He's just extremely well placed. Jay Ford's been on him for almost forever.
Yeah.
On him in both the trials. I think he's going to give this an almighty shake. I could definitely suggest having something on it each way. There's a horse I want to make a little bit of mention of, Redina.
Yep.
I didn't mind one of the trials. One trial wasn't great to the eye, the other was. Classy animal on its day.
Yep.
I like 30 to 1. I just think, just seems to me way over the odds.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely, like I said, it's not a race I'm getting overly enthused in, but I'm very much like you. I definitely can have something on the each way basis of Wing Chat at the 550, and I'm Redina at the 30s. I could easily have a little speculatory bet.
Yeah, love
at
it.
this point, and I'll have a lot more of a look closer once we know what the bias and things are doing. Coming closer to then.
Love it, mate.
All right, we move on to race 10, our lucky last.
Yep. Currently without scratchings, I think this will be the fastest race of the day. I've got plenty of tempo, Unflinching, the Black Cloud, Omni-Man, Tri-State, all want to be positive. I think there'll be stacks of speed on. And in the large field, I think a 3 wide line might be in play. If the track's racing evenly, that could be okay. Otherwise, I think that all those horses in a 3 wide line will be disadvantaged. I was surprised Ostraka came up favourite. It's trialled reasonably well, but I think this is
very well.
Yeah, I think this is a distance short of its best. And from the barrier, I think they'll just be sort of finding a midfield run, hitting the line strongly, looking to sort of next start and its start after. I've got a 2-bet strategy in this race, the Black Cloud and Blanc De Blanc. I like the Black Cloud resuming from a freshen, will race on speed, and has figures good enough of winning this. I think sort of the residual fitness against some others in this race is also beneficial. And then Blanc De Blanc, I like this horse drawing gate 1. Tommy's on. This horse hasn't drawn a low barrier in its career. I think gate 1, they'll be using this to their advantage, and I think they can just get a nice run two back the fence, hopefully looking for the gaps. And I think if Tommy can find them, looks a top chance.
Well, I'm not going to waste everyone's time because I just about agree with almost everything you said in this race. I made a notable mention of Blanc De Blanc as the danger to Briasa that day.
Yep.
I thought this run was really good. Loved how it hit the line. Totally agree with what you said. Barrier 1, I think will suit it. Can definitely sit a little bit closer. Love the Black Cloud. I've got Blanc De Blanc on top, and I've got the Black Cloud second.
Love it.
Ostraka thought it trialled exceedingly well, but at 1100 I definitely thought was short of its best.
Yeah.
And don't think it's going to map in the ideal position unless maybe they do go. I just think it seems unders. Maybe small notable mention, Barber trialled well enough to probably run well here.
Yep.
And I think Blanc De Blanc. I like Blanc De Blanc a little bit more than the Black Cloud. They're the two.
Yeah.
We've had a little strike rate of us with our matchups. When we've matched up, they've either won or run exceedingly well.
Yeah, last week Buckaroo hinged.
Touch wood, let's not put the mocker on those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's go into your best bets.
Yes, sweet. Most of the best bets this week will be down in Flemington, but we'll start with just the one in at Rosehill. Race 7, number 1, Mayfair. For all the previous points we've mentioned, I like this horse 6 weeks between runs. Ran well behind Stormboy. Now it gets onto the 2-week backup, and I think this horse can run well, stepping up to the 1400. Then we'll go down to Flemington for the next 3. Race 1, Nadal. This horse resumes Gelder for the Kieran Maher stable. If you look at its 3-year-old form, it's got runs in behind Osmosis in the Coolmore, behind Militarize in the Golden Rose. Just looks top class form, I think, and can resume a winner off some nice jump outs. Then we'll go to Flemington, race 8, via Sistina. I love this horse's Group 1 win in the Winx Stakes. Goes down to Melbourne, faces Melbourne opposition. I think it can get the job done, and I like J-Mac going down to Melbourne for the weekend. And then we'll go to Flemington, race 9, Buenos Noches. This is a proper Group 1 horse. It's versing inferior animals, and I've liked its trials. I think the barrier 14 will be suitable at Flemington on the weekend. I think it will be coming down the outside fence with a steaming run from the back. Mace, how about yourself?
Just the 2 bets for me this week from the early mail. I am going Flemington, race 4, number 1, Glowing Empire. This is probably one of the most impressive wins of a younger horse I've seen down south for a little while. Super dominant win. Drops back to the 1100, but I think that will suit him going down the straight. I think you want a horse that can probably go an extra 100 metres and he will do it. I just think he'll be way too powerful for them. Hope he doesn't get caught too far on the inside, but I just think he'll be too dominant and should just be winning. And I then moved to Rosehill, race 10, number 14, Blanc De Blanc. I think she can improve from the run. I love the way she chased home behind Briasa. I think she finds an easier race here, and I think there's probably only 1 or 2 dangers. I think around the $5.50, $6 mark each way, I think she's a great play. We'll see you guys next week. Like I said, not super pumped, but it's funny. Some of these cards I find when I'm not 100% sure, you find a bias and then you just start finding the horses that sit in the right spots and you can turn it into a good little day.
Absolutely. Just be reactive. Don't put all your bets on just yet. Just wait for the day and see.
No, it's as we said, each week seems to be getting better and better racing, and it's starting to heat up.
Can't wait, mate.
See you guys next week.
See yous.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.